Richard Krause.
Just tell me a little bit then about how important it was to you to keep the Toronto-ness of the story in, and not being from here, how did you sort of get enough of the vibe of the city to make sure that it came through in the film?
Well, I think on one hand, I think sometimes it's interesting when, you know, like a film is shot by a foreign filmmaker. Sometimes, you know, it's with a very appreciative eye, because it's like a new and exotic kind of place. You know, but then the books themselves are such a detailed world, and I like the way I'd been to Toronto. I know how to pronounce it. I've been to
English way. That's fine. You're
British.
British.
Toronto, about 3 or 4 times before I met Brian. But reading the books and him showing us around the locations, you know, I like the way that Brian's art had sort of stylized Toronto into this kind of fantasy playground. So, and a lot of the details of the world were real, and, you know, it's important to have that kind of naturalistic jumping off point. So that was my main sort of thing, is that you know, there's a lot of other things I had to concentrate on in the film, but I felt like if we had the, you know, it's like when actors, kind of some method actors, kind of have to get the right underwear for their character. It's like if you get the details of the place that you're in right, then you kind of have the, you know, the chance to explode into another world. So it was, and you know, we worked very hard on getting the right locations. You know, the location manager, like, did an amazing job in terms of, like, you know, we would come along and, because Brian had drawn these houses, we would be in, like, on Alberta Avenue and said, no, it has to be that number and that number only. There is no B option. And, you know, like, we got everything. Like, with the exception of one, there was one chain that wouldn't let us film, but everything else is, like, pizza, second cup, you know, like, we just got all of the, you know, Lee's Palace, getting all the details right. You know, Sonic Boom, we just made sure that we were in the right places and worked really hard to get that working, and everybody was very cooperative. But I think if there was ever, like, another city had offered, like, a bigger tax break, and we'd have had to go to Louisiana or Prague, or, like, it would have been a disaster.
Well, you don't live in Toronto anymore, right?
No, I haven't lived here since 2005. Yeah, I moved to Halifax and then to the States.
Right. And was it important for you that they maintain the Toronto location, or was that, I mean, in order to get the movie made, if they had been able to make it somewhere else, did it matter to you that much?
No, not at all. I did not give a crap. But no, it's amazing that they did. You know, I would have probably, being a starving cartoonist, I probably would have just taken anything. If it was some other jerk directing the movie, I probably would have happily gone along with it. But fortunately, it was Edgar, and there was never any question of shooting anywhere else. And, I mean, last night, you know, obviously I don't live here, I was walking around, it's like, wow, these streets are so Scott Pilgrim-y. It's like, now it's codified, it's part of our fictional world.
Well, you really get a sense of it when you see the film. The streets are, for me, I mean, I live here, so I know, but they are undeniably Toronto streets to me, in the houses and the architecture and stuff. And I really thought that it really grabbed a great spirit of the film. As a Torontonian, how did you feel when you saw the film?
Definitely. I think it really captures the charm that our city offers. It captures the uniqueness, the diversity, the great lifestyle, the awesome vibe, the coolness of Toronto. It's all there, and it's embracing it all as opposed to just using it as a backdrop. Toronto's a character as well in the film and in the series. So I think it's great. It's awesome for Toronto. And the thing is, it's not like they're saying, hey, look, we're in Toronto. It's just, hey, we're just hanging out at this cool place, and we're here in Toronto. This is how we live, and this is where we are. So it's more sort of, it comes from more of a genuine place.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, loads of movies, as you all know, have been shot here. But there'll be scenes where you see the CN Tower in the background, but they're paying with American money in the stores and that kind of thing. So, I mean, that was sort of the beauty of it. That, to me, that it wasn't made that big a deal that it was Toronto, but it was unmistakably here. And I think that's the thing.
Well, like Kick-Ass came out a few months before our movie, and it was like, they were shooting at, I think it was Spadina Station, like that really recognizable glass dome thing, and it was supposed to be New York. It's just like, it took me right out of the movie. Same with the Incredible Hulk a couple years ago, running down Yonge Street.
Yeah.
By Sam the Record Man and everything.
I live right there, and we were coming home one night, and there was a bus overturned with flames shooting out of it, and I thought, there's been a horrible accident, and we ran, and then, there's Ed Norton yelling at us to get off the set.